guys! So today I'm doing part 1 of my bookshelf tour. The lovely collection that you see behind me is not mine, it's actually my dad's, and I haven't read a single one of these books. Pretty much all like history, yeah. So I can't give you a tour of that one. My books are all in my room and they're pretty much organized into like 5 piles, but since a lot of people have asked me to show off my collection, I've decided that, you know what, you don't need a bookshelf to do a bookshelf tour. So let's go see how I organize my books. Okay, so for part 1 of this bookshelf tour, I'm going to be taking you guys through this shelf, which I attempted to organize by color and kind of failed at. Ignore the stuffed animals above. I'm secretly a 4-year-old child. I know I kind of mentioned earlier how I don't really own a bookshelf, and here I am showing you a shelf, but this shelf isn't really meant for books, and I promise you will see in parts 2 and 3 of my bookshelf tour that the rest of my books are just in giant piles. Like this, right here. So, yeah, I am still in desperate need of a bookshelf, and yeah, I kind of need to get rid of this rinky-dinky little thing, but let's get started. I'll stop complaining. So over here we kind of have like the silver and black section. I don't know. I have Identical by Ellen Hopkins, which I haven't read yet, but I've been meaning to read soon. I have Divergent by Veronica Roth, which is one of my favorite, just absolutely favorite books like ever. I have 13 Reasons Why. I'd take it out, but all of a sudden, there we go. I love this book just because I think it's a book everyone should read. It's just got a lot of meaning to it and it's just great. It is. I have this kind of no-name book here, which is actually my grandmother's. It is like, I think it's the collection of all of Shakespeare's comedies. So it was my grandmother's when she was a college student, and my dad gave it to me, and I thought it was just kind of a nice keepsake. Over here we have Unwind, which I haven't read yet just because I really don't want to start a new series right now. I've read enough series for like ever. Then we have The Kite Runner, which is just one of my favorite books of possibly all time. I think it's incredible. And then we have The Samurai's Garden, which I think I read in high school, so I can't really tell you a lot about. Sorry. Over here we have The Maze Runner, another book I've never read. Oops. And then we have Matched, which I think is a really good dystopian. It's not like incredible like The Hunger Games or Divergent, but if you want a good dystopian series, look into Matched. It's good. Good stuff, yeah. And then we have another copy of The Kite Runner, which I'm going to take out to show you guys because... Give me a second, I'm working the camera one-handed. It's actually autographed, which I won in a like People magazine contest on Twitter, and it's now my prized possession. Then we have The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which I haven't read yet. I got it like a flea market for like $3, but yeah, I'm sure you guys have heard of it. I have Merchants of Doubt, which is a book I had to read for college. I don't really remember what it is. I think that tells you how closely I read my college textbooks. Then we have, I believe this is, let's see what this one is, True Tales of a Grotesque Land. I read this for my Holocaust literature class and I really enjoyed it. It was one of the better books we had read. So if you like Holocaust literature or like memoirs or anything like that, that kind of retell history, I would look into this one. Next to that book we have The Time Traveler's Wife, which is one of the few books I had to read for high school that I actually really enjoyed. It was just right up my alley. Wasn't like a huge fan of the movie adaptation, but good book, good book. Then we have Where Things Come Back, which I just recently read this summer and just really enjoyed. Great YA standalone. And then here we have my Bible. This is The Fault in Our Stars. It's my autographed copy. I have 2 copies, one autographed, one not autographed. I don't really know why, but this is the autographed one, and it's placed nicely on my shelf because I love it. Then we have this random book called Moon Over Alcatraz, which I think I won in Goodreads, and honestly only put here because it worked with the color pattern. Yes. And we have this thin book right here, which is called Information Nation, which I think was given to me when I declared being a journalism major at my school. So that was a free book. Over here we have another journalism book thing. This is called Best Newspaper Writing. My teacher made me buy this. It was like 50 or 60 bucks. Brand spanking new for class, and then we never used it. So yay. The next book we have here is my Little Red Book, which is just like a collection of like women going through changes, if you know what I'm saying. But it's like supposed to be like really like uplifting and emotional and just like a feel-good read and just like really, I don't know, women bonding. I've never read it, but I'm kind of, maybe I'll read this one soon. Over here we have The Grail Bird, which was a gift because I think it's also autographed. I used to birdwatch as a kid. I know, total nerd, but I think my dad bought this for me because it's about like a woodpecker that everyone thought was extinct and is now kind of come back. So kind of like the story of where things come back if you read that book as well. Over here we have The Host, which I haven't read, and I just watched the movie like a week ago, so I probably won't read it for a while, but I like the movie. I thought it was an interesting story. Maybe I'll read this just to have a more detailed account of what happens. Next we have Triangles by Ellen Hopkins, which is her adult novel, and it's possibly like the tallest book on my shelf. See, look at how tall it is compared to every other book. I really enjoyed this book. It was definitely a great read, and if you like her YA books, you know, you could try Triangles and read her other non-YA stuff, adult stuff, that's what I meant to say, yeah. Over here we have The Secret Garden, if you can read the spine, it's like really tiny print. I never read this book, I feel like everyone else did and I just didn't. Oops. We have The Dinner Party, which is another hard spine to read, but I got that as Goodreads win book. So yeah, I've never read it, but it kind of worked with the color pattern, so. Over here we have The Lightning Thief, another book that everyone's read and I haven't. I kind of want to get into it. I just feel like everyone else is just so into it right now that if I started it, I'd just be behind, and I don't know. I should read it, but I'm just making excuses. Here we have The Catcher in the Rye, one of my favorite classics. Next to that we have Stolen by Lucy Christopher, which I think is one of those books that is just underrated. I really enjoyed it, and maybe you will too. The cover is also kind of cool. It's just, as I was saying, I kind of like the cover because it's completely black and then the spine is white. And then the last book is called Paris, My Sweet, and I want it in Goodreads, haven't read it, but I just kind of keep it on the end because I love Paris, so I like that I can like see it from all angles. So that pretty much concludes this part of the bookshelf tour. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing all my books. Hope I wasn't too boring. So stay tuned for parts 2 and 3, which will be uploaded soon. Yeah.